This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. It is perhaps the most defining moment in Bahamian history. On January 10, 1967, Majority Rule Day, the Bahamas achieved self-governance through democracy. It is viewed as the singular event that has helped to shape the modern Bahamas. Here on Grand Bahama, the campaign continues to educate young Bahamians about the road to majority rule and its significance. Shashina Roll tells us that some of those in that struggle made a stop at the 8 Mile Rock High School today.
The significance of majority rule and the struggles to attain it echoed throughout the 8 Mile Rock High School auditorium. Principal Ivan Butler believes this is one of the most important lessons students will learn.
One of the aspects of majority rule was to empower Bahamians. And I think over the years, many of our students have lost a sense or their sense of identity about what majority rule is all about. And so each year we leave no stone unturned when it comes to majority rule. We feel it's very important for our students to know their history and the significance of this day.
Former Ambassador Maurice Moore knows the struggle all too well. He shares how Grand Bahama played a major role in majority rule.
Most of the activities during those days took place in Nassau. None of the family islands took any active part in trying to bring about changes. Grand Bahama did a fairly good job, and after a long period of exchanges, strikes, insurrections, I came to the conclusion that the only way you can really truly bring changes is that you have to change from the government. The change has to come there first.
District Superintendent for the Western District, Mary Cooper, and Senator Julian Russell say the story behind majority rule can be used to overcome some of the social ills in the country today.
Today, the select few are destroying our country with violence. And so it's time for us to do another majority rule per se, getting together and uniting as a people to rid our country of the crime and violence that is now ruling our country. And so my take is that in teaching majority rule, we teach children how when we unite, when we come together as one, we can make change, positive change in our country.
I'd just like to remind people that regardless of what's going on today, I still believe that the glass is half full, it's not half empty. And we've got a long way to go.
Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
Thank you, Shashina. Well, the Freeport Primary School also holding a special assembly today to give students some insight into the struggle to achieve majority rule. Principal Barbara Thompson says Amanda Gold Adderley was selected to speak to the students on her experience during the struggle.
What they are enjoying now was not always the case, that there were some people who had to go through some struggles to allow them to experience all the freedom that they have now. So in their social studies classes, they have been learning about Majority Rule Day. The social studies teacher was able to get them to put a presentation together going down from when it started, the struggle when it started, up to the present day.
District Superintendent for East Grand Bahama, Dorothy Camp, says they want to ensure that students know the importance of Majority Rule Day.
Even as adults, we have to be constantly reminded of the importance of why our forefathers would have fought for us. And throughout the course of this day, all of our schools will be taking time out of the regular schedule of classes, because as we look at it, this is a teaching moment for them as well, and so very important, a lesson that cannot be just forgotten.
A parade and cultural extravaganza is planned for this coming Monday in commemoration of Majority Rule Day. A committee was formed to organize the festivities, which will include a performance by the Defense Force Band. Committee member Bishop Joseph Hall says this was made possible through a special partnership.
We are overcomers, and for this third year celebrating His Holiness, we seek to bring the Defense Force Band from Nassau for a great treat. And we want to give thanks in advance to Mr. Leon Williams, the CEO of BTC, who have consented to be a part of this and sponsoring this. And we want to say a heartfelt thanks to them and to everyone, the foot soldiers who have paved the way for us, whom shoulders that we are standing on today. We are grateful to God, and I say to God be the glory.
Once again, the Majority Rule celebrations will take place downtown Freeport beginning at 10 a.m. on Monday. A man who was involved in the struggle for majority rule will be laid to rest this weekend right here on Grand Bahama. Businessman and sports executive Cornelius "Money" Williams passed away late last year. This afternoon, friends and family members paid tribute to Williams following a service held at PLP headquarters on East Sunrise Highway. Megan Shepard was there.
Family, friends, and supporters of the Progressive Liberal Party gathered Friday afternoon for a service to remember the life of Cornelius "Money" Williams. Williams, a stalwart counselor of the Progressive Liberal Party and a well-respected member of the sports community on Grand Bahama, passed away last year at the age of 89. Assistant Secretary General of the PLP, Michelle Reckley, paying tribute. She says that while it is a day of mourning, they have also come together to celebrate the invaluable contributions Cornelius "Money" Williams made to Grand Bahama and the country as a whole.
He has been one of the persons in this party who, when it's time to go, he go. When it's time to give, he give. And wherever he can assist, whichever constituency you call on him, he was always able, willing, and ready. So, these are persons who helped build this party. And Mr. Williams was always also one of the persons who was involved in the struggle for majority rule. And today, it's around the corner and he's not here to see it. But we remember his contributions and we appreciate having such a man like Mr. Cornelius Williams being a part of the Progressive Liberal Party.
Williams was described as a kind human being and a man whose life and generosity transcended politics. President of Creative Works Limited, Peter Adderley, says for him, Williams was a good example and he learned many life lessons from Williams.
I've been the beneficiary of his generosity, me and thousands of others here on Grand Bahama, by way of sports, sponsorships to go on trips, to travel the world, and anything you wanted support for or on. Mr. Williams is always available. It's a good person. He represents that brand of Bahamians who fought for majority rule, who wanted to see the country progress and was interested in the development and progress of young people.
Greg Christie also paying tribute during the service. He says Williams played a big role in his life, both in politics and in the world of sports.
He was one who was focused on where we needed to go and who was your conscience when you did not do what was right. So I appreciate that. From the political side, as I said in there, as I grew up in Baintown, in Nassau, I heard about this Money Williams case as a little boy. I never met him until we connected in Freeport. But I know that he was a PLP to the core. When the call was made for us to move, he took off and he went all the way. When we were called to go to the New Frontier, he came to Grand Bahama. Called to stand, he stood tall for the PLP.
Funeral services for Cornelius "Money" Williams will be held Saturday, January 9th at 11 a.m. at Christ the King Anglican Church. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, there's more news after this.